Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Gambling Care podcast. Today we have Bella, who's going to talk about her own experiences, strengths, hopes. And so first of all, thanks for coming on, thanks for agreeing to do it. One of the things that we would find difficult is we find it difficult to get women sitting in that seat across from me, because I suppose there's a certain stigma still involved around gambling addiction and women. But can you take me back to talk about your story? You don't have to take me back to the very beginning, but how do you find yourself sitting here today?
I'm actually feel so lucky to be able to sit in this chair and tell my story. I struggled with alcohol, mainly alcohol. And I did dip into drugs so I could drink more. But it was about not being able to cope with my feelings. And
what age did you start?
I think I was about 13 when I really started drinking. But like as a child, I was robbing drink from the press. The bottle of poaching was getting watered down. Like, my poor dad had a bottle of water at the end of the day. But no, I always liked the taste of alcohol, and I always knew that I felt completely different when I drank it. And I liked how it made me feel. It was a coping mechanism. And as the years went on, like it got worse and worse, and drugs came into it, and things were taking an awful downfall, and I felt like I was using and drinking, and I didn't want to be alive anymore. And, I was hoping I couldn't kill myself. But I was hoping I wouldn't wake up most mornings. And then things just escalated. It just kept getting worse. The drugs weren't working. The drink wasn't working. So I had someone close pass, and it kind of opened my eyes and said, "What the hell are you doing?"
As a result of alcohol or?
No, it wasn't even a result of alcohol, and it was to do with this person's liver as well. When they were like healthy, and I was yellow. I was going around yellow from all the abuse I'd given my body, and I was sick all the time, but I didn't know I was sick all the time because I kept drinking on it. So eventually I hit rock bottom. That girl's funeral just really shook me. And I still continued on to drink. And then I was having a party for my son. My son has autism. My son doesn't like parties. So I was having a party for me. My party. And I invited a friend, and I said, "Do you want to come to my party?" And she said to me, "Bella, I'm not going to your party." She goes, "I'm a year sober." And then it dawned on me, oh my God, if she's sober, what does that make me? It made me really uncomfortable. So I went on and I had the confirmation party, and I went on to ask people at the party, "What do you think if I go to AA?" And they all thought it was a great idea. I wasn't too happy with that.
Did that tell you something in itself? So they agreed.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, you do have a problem. So I ended up the next day, I had my last drink, and that was in August, the 30th of August, 2021. And I haven't had a drink since.
Well done.
I went on to an addiction services in Kilnarden. I went down there and I got key working. They transferred me to a day programme, and I learnt all about my addiction, which I feel was imperative for me, to continue on. I learnt what it could turn into, and it was escalating in different things. I found myself, I was wanting to look different, so it was lip fillers, sunbeds, eyelashes, just total distraction, because I didn't want to sit with myself and do the real work. After a while, I started I knew my phone was a problem. I knew it was a huge, huge problem for me. I knew that I couldn't concentrate on my family or myself if I constantly was on this phone. I was starting to play a lot of games. I was starting to do, the raffles that come on.
How long were you in recovery at this stage?
I'd say I was a year in recovery, and it was like, it was starting to seep out of me. And then I think we done like a couple of workshops in the rehab program about gambling, and it really resonated with me. I was like, oh my God, you need to stop. Like I had the Lotto app downloaded on my phone, and I was putting money on it every week, and I was getting scratch cards, and I was getting good feelings from the same feelings I was getting from alcohol, buying these scratch cards. And the phone, like I ended up having an intervention on myself because I could see this escalating and being a problem. I deleted all my games off my phone. It took me a long time to delete the games. I kept downloading other ones. I didn't get into purchasing anything on the games, but it wasn't far away. I deleted the Lotto app. I then deleted all my social media because the social media was just a huge problem. And I found that I got a lot of peace from that. Like I was able to function properly without, seeing everybody's fake lives going on, and the advertising as well. I downloaded half of the games that were advertised on Facebook. So the only thing I have on my phone now is WhatsApp, and that's just for messages. I won't even go into the stories that people put up or anything like that, because I need to keep myself safe.
Can you put stories up on WhatsApp?
Yeah. You can, yeah.
Just shows you how far away I am. But did you find, around the game, so let's say you were into, slots or...
No. It was them Farmvilles and stuff where you buy the coins.
Would you?
Right. To get
and did
more
you
land.
Find, as a result of you playing one or two of those games or three of those games, that you were getting more options coming to your phone as a...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because that's one of the things around gambling is that if I'm gambling, and it doesn't really matter what I'm gambling, but if I download an app and I'm gambling, well, I'll obviously get a lot of gambling advertisement towards my phone and whatever. There's a thing called, we've talked about it before on the podcast, there's a thing called Gam Ban or Gam Stop that you can put on your phone that stops all of that. Stops you downloading the apps, but it also stops you, it also stops any advertisement being directed to your phone. So you said it very flippantly there that I created an intervention on myself. Mm-hmm. That is a very rare thing in gambling.
Yeah.
A very, very rare thing. Now, I understand because of your history with the alcohol and the drugs or whatever it happened to be, that there was, you had a knowledge.
Yeah.
But knowledge is one thing, it's actually acting on that's the other. So how did you give us a little bit of an indication of how the intervention, how it took place? You deleted all the apps. All you have then is WhatsApp. Was there any external things? Were you going into the shop to buy scratch cards or Lotto or anything like that?
I put a stop to all that. Right. I put a complete stop. I don't even do the Lotto. Now, my husband to do the Lotto.
Yeah.
But he even has asked me to go in and do the Lotto, and I've said, no, I'm not gambling. I'm not doing it. I said, I'm an addict and I'm not safe.
Okay.
And it's just the way I have to be, to protect myself. And I know my addiction will turn into something else.
Do you feel more stigma around the gambling than the alcohol? A lot of women find it very difficult to hold their hands up and say, I've got a gambling problem.
Oh, yeah.
They would find it a lot more comfortable to walk into AA and say,
definitely.
I've got an alcohol problem.
Definitely. You very rarely see it. Very rarely see it. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Well, one of the things I've always thought, I find it's difficult for women to get into recovery in gambling, because you walk into a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, it's dominated it's male dominated.
Men, yeah.
Now there are groups that we have. dotted up and down the country that are women only, which is obviously a great thing, and that obviously gives the women an avenue into recovery. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm intrigued on this thing about you creating your own intervention. Do you understand how powerful or how meaningful or how not normal that is?
Yeah. It was what I learned. It was tools I learned from, I'm in a fellowship as well, and I have a program, and my program helps me live. It helps me live and function, and I know what to look out for. I'm very rigid. I am very rigid. I have to be.
Yeah, we all have to be.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that people think that you stop something and then you just get on with the rest of your life.
Yeah, no. Everyone needs to study their addiction and to learn about it. And that's how I was able to spot out that I was in danger.
How important is working a program to you?
Oh, I work my program every day. The odd time I have a row with my husband, it goes on pause. But yeah, I work it every day. It's really important. If I don't work it, as I said, I'm in danger. I am, 100%.
What's the dangers if you don't work it?
Dangers of using, dangers of even gambling, going right back to where I was. I'm not safe. Nobody's safe.
If you could give a piece of advice to people who find themselves in the same situation as you, whether it be just gambling or whether it be gambling as a replacement for alcohol or drugs, because a lot of people, that happens to a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are cross-addicted, but it happens to a lot of people who think, right, well, I'm not drinking, I'm not drugging, and gambling seems quite harmless, so maybe I could try that.
Yeah, and it happens with everything, so somebody would stop using drugs and they think they could drink, and it's the same with the gambling, they think, right, I'm not doing any harm because I'm not physically, because you can't spot it physically on someone that's gambling at all. You can't tell. You can tell by looking at someone if they're an alcoholic or an addict. You can tell.
What would have been your tell at that time whenever you started gambling? If somebody knew you really well and they thought, she's in recovery, she's doing so well, but you know what, something sort of changed now, what would that thing have been?
I suppose...
Irritation?
Yeah. On my phone constantly. It's that's another addiction in itself, being on the phone. I have loads at home that are addicted to their phones, and it's hard to watch, It is. I think it stems there sometimes for people, because the advertising of alcohol and, people out, having a good time as well, yeah.
And what would be the piece of advice you would give somebody today who finds himself struggling with a gambling problem?
Definitely get help. Definitely go to a rehab program and learn the tools to be able to survive it, because you're in danger, you really are.
Thanks, Bella, and look, thank you so much for being as open as you've been. I suppose, as I say, it is difficult to get the women in that seat, but I think anybody who is listening, watching the podcast needs to know that if you're a woman out there, you're struggling, could be bingo, could be slots, could be
there's
scratch
so
cards,
much help
bingo,
out there.
Horses, whatever.
But there is so much help out there, and I don't think anybody knows. You just go into an addiction service and they will guide you in the right direction. That's what I did. I went into the closest addiction service. I didn't know where I was going. I just went in and I told them, I need help.
And anybody who does find themselves in that problem with that issue and are looking for same posted to whatever services are out there, you'll get them through the Gambling Care website, GamblingCare.ie. Thanks again, Bella.
Thanks.